Welcome, everyone. You are right on time. Haven't gotten started yet. If you're just joining us new for the first time, we are on day 4 of our, day 5 of our 12 days of healing together. Yes, thank you. Day 5. Moves fast. Goes fast, doesn't it? As you'll notice, as you've been doing the work that we've been learning, if you've been doing your devaluation list, slowly but surely, you're starting to feel more calm. You're starting to regain a sense of self, starting to regain your footing, starting to feel less pain. And that's good. That's kind of the objective here. We don't want you to be in pain. So by applying these things that we're learning here, you can actually be in less pain after an avoidant discard. For those of us who are new, just jumping in here, we've been healing together for 5 days now. This is our 5th day. Day 5 theme is always focus on your gifts and your blessings. Very similar to day 4, where we talked about always do and focus on what is beneficial for you. Focusing on your gifts and blessings is going to take on a slightly different angle. But it's really important for healing. Have compassion for yourself. Remember that when you're dumped, discarded, when you're ghosted, when you're blocked, when someone abandons you, that's abandonment. It's a neglect. And as adults, it's not as catastrophic on our life if we're abandoned as it would be when we're children. But we still have what people refer to as the abandonment wound, which is the feeling that it's the worst thing that could happen to us, to be abandoned by someone we love. We still have that feeling as adults. So emotionally, it makes it more intense than it technically is for our life. So we've created an idea in our head that we need someone else, we need the other person, or we need some other person. And so this makes the fact that this person is not with us anymore, that this person has left us, more intense than it really is on a technical level. Like if you were to take a step back and just look technically, what have you lost? And you might realize that technically speaking, in most cases, when you lose the person in the relationship, you still have a lot of things, in fact, most things that you need in order to get your actual needs met. You may still have a shelter. You may still have your income if you already had that. You may still have your transportation if you already had that. A lot of times we still have our independence and our freedom, and now we've got more privacy than we prefer to have, but the reality is we have gifts and we have blessings. Law number 5 is always focus on your gifts and your blessings. What happens when we get dumped, left, abandoned, avoided, our mind goes to the infinite void. And please, have compassion for yourself, because what happened is not fair. But when your mind goes to the infinite void of what you do not have and cannot control, you start wasting energy. We start burning our life energy away. The infinite void of what we do not have and cannot control is every single thing in the universe that you don't have control over or that you don't possess. Every single thing in the universe that you don't possess. So what is there more of? Is there more things that you don't possess, or is there more things that you do possess? Write your answer in the chat. In the universe, is there more things that you don't possess, or is there more things that you do possess? This is an exercise for our mind to get ourselves thinking a little bit deeper. Helen says don't. Laura says do. Fanny says don't. Is there more things that you don't possess, or is there more things that you do possess in the universe? Lisa says don't. Fabulous says do. Fancy says do. Carmen says do. Jules says do. We're split on this one. A lot of people saying do. Think about it. Is there more in the universe that you don't have control over, or is there more in the universe that you do control? What exists in greater quantity? It's correct. There is more in the universe that we do not control. There is more in the universe that we do not control and that we do not possess. If you think about all the money in the world, do you have most of it? Right? Most people don't have. In fact, no person on the planet has most of the money in the world. If you think about the people, do you control most of the people in the universe? No, there's more people that you don't control. If you think about energy in the universe, do you control most of the energy in the universe? No, there's more energy in the universe that you don't control. So what you realize out there in the void, quite obviously, most stuff is not under our control or in our possession. So because that is so abundant, because most things in the universe are not in our control and in our possession, it is very easy to accidentally focus on something that's not in our control and in our possession, because that's most things in the universe. You follow me? It can be challenging sometimes to stay focused only on what we control and what we possess. Because as some of you have started to realize as we're talking about this, there's a very finite amount of things that we control and possess. There is an infinite amount of things that we don't control and don't possess. We can't count up all the energy that you don't have, that's out there in the universe, all the people, all the stuff that you don't control. Like we don't control planets, for example. Correct. So what do you control? Well, you control yourself, right? And you control your body and your energy and how you'll use it. You control your thoughts, basically. There are some thoughts you don't control, which is the subconscious, right? But you control the training of the subconscious, and then you control your conscious thoughts, right? So anything you're conscious of in the metaphysical, you control. And then you have, in the physical things, you have your house and your car, right? And you have maybe a pet. You have some control on a child, or you have some control, but not total control over these things. So we got very limited things now that we've gone through. You control your money, and that's it. Your car, I named that, right? That's pretty much it, right? You got your shell. You got very, very little that you actually control. By comparison to everything that is in existence. There is a law of the universe that to stay healthy, you must focus on what you have, your gifts and your blessings. That is law number 5. And that is our theme for today. When you get dumped, ghosted, discarded, it plays with your head. Because something you used to control or something you used to possess suddenly slips out into the void, in the infinite void of what you do not have and cannot control. And there's a very simple law in the universe. You must only focus on what you control and what you possess, your gifts and your blessings. Always focus on your gifts and your blessings is law number 5. It is a law of healing. In order to heal from this breakup, you must become hyper-focused on your gifts and your blessings, and you must remove all focus and remove all energy from your loss. With great power comes great responsibility. What would be the point of focusing on something you have no responsibility over? Outside of entertainment value, there would be no benefit to focusing on something that you don't have any control, any responsibility over, but you need control or power over it to have responsibility over it. Do you have power over your ex that just left? Not really. Not greatly. They just demonstrated that by doing exactly the one thing you didn't want them to do, which is to leave and to avoid communicating with you. That's the one thing. If you could control things, you would have made sure they didn't do that, and that's what they did, showing you that you don't have control over them. If you don't have control over them, are you supposed to be focusing on them? If you don't have control over it, are you supposed to focus on it? We are not supposed to focus on anything we do not possess, we do not have power over, we do not have control over. But this is a mind trip because you did have them. In your mind, you had them. You possessed them on some level. They were there. And then all of a sudden, whoop, they were just not there. It's very natural. It's very easy to follow the thing that you lost control over to try to get it back. It's natural. So cut yourself a break, right? It's natural. If I have $1 in my hand and then the dollar blows out of my hand, it's natural that I would chase the dollar down the street. That's natural. If my car starts to roll away, I would chase it, right? It's natural. Somebody steals something of mine, I would pursue it. I would make a police report. It's natural that you would try to pursue or try to chase after something you had that was yours and then you lost it. But you must remember, when it comes to another human being, because of their free will, when they decide that they are no longer going to be in the bond of union with you, you must let them go and not chase them. Law of the universe. It's also respecting their boundaries. It's respecting their choice, their autonomy to make a decision. You must respect their decision. It's different with humans. It's different with humans. And yes, it is an act of love because you're respecting their boundary to let them go. But not just physically, we chase mentally. Thinking about them, ruminating. How could I have kept them? What could I have done different? What did I do wrong? This is my fault. You're mentally chasing, aren't you? How can I get them back? Will I get them back? When will they come back? Do avoidance come back? Let me type that into Google. Do avoidance come back? Let me go ChatGPT. Let me go to TikTok. Do avoidance come back? Right? Because we're mentally chasing. Oh, I got to check his Instagram. I just got to check. I just got to check his story. I got to see the story. Because you're mentally chasing. Let me just ride by and just see if his car is in the driveway because I'm just kind of worried of how he's doing. Even though he blocked me and said he doesn't want to talk anymore. You get it? Or mentally chasing. Let them go. It's a part of the healing process. If you mess up a little bit and you forget tomorrow and you mentally chase a little bit, stop yourself, catch yourself. Don't shame yourself because it's understandable. It's very natural to chase what was yours. But remind yourself, the human doesn't belong to me. We were enjoying a mutual bond that was based on a mutual agreement, a consensus that both of us agreed to be there. I don't want them if they don't want to be with me. Remind yourself of that. We forget. We're like, I need them, I want them, but I want them. We want someone who wants to be with us. Everyone here would agree. We want someone who wants to be with us. We forget because we're like, they did want to be with us, so that's really trippy. Because literally the night before, right, we were just intimate, passionate, in love, talking about our future, planning, committing, getting engaged, talking about marriage, like just the night before. And then the next day, they disappear. And they say, no, and I can't, and I got to work on myself, and they got some weird excuse, or they don't even say anything. Very confusing for the brain. So be patient. Your subconscious mind doesn't understand because nothing is supposed to go that way in the universe. So it went that way. So now you have to stop and go, whoa, okay, that was not natural. Let me give myself some compassion because that was an abandonment, which is a mistreatment, which is an abuse or a trauma for me. That was traumatic. This is traumatic. But I value her autonomy to choose if she wants to be with me or not. I only wanted to be with them on the condition that they wanted to be with me as well. Everyone here would agree with that. Remind yourself of that right now. Say it out loud to yourself. I only wanted to be with them on the condition that they wanted to be with me. And let me add some color to that. That they acted in accordance with wanting to be with me, that they would actually make the effort to be with me, that they would choose to be with me. Because avoidance make it more confusing because they go, I do want to be with you, while they run away from you. This is my impression of an avoidant. I love you. I would love to be with you. while they run away. Very confusing to the brain. And so you're going, wait, what do they? I thought they just said, they said they love me. They said they want to be with me. They said I was their everything. They said, right? It's very confusing to the brain. So give yourself some compassion. That's manipulation. Like once somebody does you like that, that's like a mental abuse. That's literally mental abuse, right? I want to be with you. You're like, oh, what? Right? And then you chase them, and then they're like, oh my God, stop stalking me. You're so obsessed. Like, what? I'm so confused. I'm sorry. I thought we were right. I understand. It's a mind trip. Okay? So give yourself some compassion. Okay? No shame over the fact that you tried to chase or that you feel like you want to chase. It's normal. You're the normal one. They're not the normal one. It's not normal to tell someone that you love them and run away from them and avoid them. That's not normal. That's not healthy. So give yourself the compassion, but you do have to stop. Because the moment someone chooses that by their actions they're not going to be with you, and they want to go be alone and apart from you, you have to let them go. It's literally the law. You can go check with your lawyer in the local police department. They will tell you you can't keep a person with you. It's the law. It's the law. Someone said it's hard when it's in a marriage. Yeah, it's hard even if there's not a marriage. It's hard when you knew the person for 2 weeks and you got attached to them, or 2 months. Man, it's hard either way. Of course it's hard in a marriage, yeah. But that's not the point. Like, we're not talking about, no, we're talking about the fact that although it's difficult, although it's not fair, although it's wrong, you only wanted to be in a marriage with someone who wants to be in a marriage with you. Remind yourself of that right now. Say it out loud. I only wanted to be with someone who wants to be with me. So we have to detach. We have to let them go. We have to remind ourselves that it was always conditional on that they actually were going to choose to be with you. And now that they have chosen not to be with you, you must say to yourself, oh, crap. Well, they don't qualify anymore. Say that out loud to yourself. They don't qualify anymore because they're not taking the action of staying with me. That's called, by the way, disloyalty. When someone detaches from you before it would be appropriate to detach from you, that's disloyalty. They detach by non-mutual agreement, non-mutual consent when you need them before your purpose is fulfilled with them. That's literal disloyalty. When they tell you and make you think that they're going to be with you, and then they're not with you, that's called future faking. It's a part of love bombing. When they call you and text you and send you little hearts and little emojis and little likes on your profile, it's breadcrumbing. It's like giving you a little bit of hope. Don't worry about all of that. Don't worry about how good it seemed like they were going to be in the promises and all that. Don't worry about that. Look at the actions. it's a disqualification. Now, what must you do with the eyeballs? Where do we need to put these eyeballs? Law number 5. Where do my eyeballs need to be? Still looking at them, still looking at their pictures, still staring at their back as they run away from us? Where should my eyeballs be? What should I be putting my eyeballs on, folks? Anybody know? Gotta know what to do with the eyeballs. You got it, Laura, on what I control. So we must immediately say, well, I still have, and then start telling yourself about the things you still have. That is the proper way to respond when someone leaves you. Let's go through it. I want to leave you. I'm leaving. Okay, I accept your decision. Well, I still have my beauty, my body, my talent. I still have my PlayStation 5. That's literally what you should say to yourself. Start talking to yourself about things that you value that you have. I still have this beautiful refrigerator. I really love this refrigerator. I still got this really expensive makeup that I got from TikTok Shop. I really love this makeup. That's what you should literally say to yourself. If you got something that you value, you literally should say to yourself, I'm telling you how to heal. They say, I'm gone, or they don't say anything, they just run away. And you should say, okay, well, I still have this really good lipstick. I mean, this shade is just perfect for me. I still got my soccer team that I play on. I still got my bridge club. I still got my congregation over here. They got my back. I still got my brother. I'm really close to my brother. What you do have, just count what you do have. Don't worry about who left. Focus on what you do have. That's law number 5. It's focusing on your gifts and your blessings. Always focus on your gifts and your blessings. Always focus on your gifts and your blessings. Is there ever a time that it would be appropriate to not focus on our gifts and our blessings? The answer is no, not really. Your default state should always be to focus on your gifts and your blessings. One of my favorite lines from one of the superhero movies, I'm going to guess it was Captain America Civil War. Who cares? Robert Downey Jr. is playing Iron Man, Chris Evans playing Captain America. Captain America says they're arguing with each other, right? And Captain America says to Robert Downey Jr.'s character, he goes, what would you even be without that suit? Now, for those who don't watch superhero movies, Captain America has his powers already inside of his body, like super strength. And then Iron Man is just normal, but he has a robot suit. That's his big powers, a robot suit. Okay, let's go back. So Captain America says to Iron Man, he goes, he says, what would you even be without that suit? Robert Downey Jr.'s character, Tony Stark, responds like this. He says, what would you ever be without that suit? He goes, billionaire, playboy, genius, philanthropist. My favorite line in the entire series of movies, out of the ones I've seen, that is my favorite line. What would you be without your robot suit? Billionaire, genius, playboy, philanthropist. He doesn't miss a beat. Tony Stark, the arrogant character that Robert Downey Jr. is playing, does not even hesitate, think. He doesn't stumble. He doesn't stutter. He's not puzzled at all. He knows exactly what he is without that suit. He knows exactly what he has if he were to lose that suit. He said, what would you be if you lost the one thing that makes you an Avenger? That should have just broke him down and been like, man, right? But he didn't break down at all. He was like, well, I'd still be a billionaire. I'd still be a genius. I'd still be a playboy. And I'd still be a philanthropist. Welcome to Self-Love 101. That's how you do it. Welcome to Confidence 101. That's how you do it. What it is, the reason why I love it so much, is because he knows exactly what his gifts and his blessings are. He knows them so well that it's as if he's rehearsed them because he's always thinking about them. So that if anyone ever came along and said, what would you be without this? He would know exactly what he would be without. What would you be without if you weren't a billionaire? I'd still be, all right, Iron Man, philanthropist, genius, playboy. You understand? What would you be if you're not a playboy? Genius, philanthropist, Iron Man. You understand? No matter what you take from me, I still know the other stuff that I have, and I can name it off this quickly. That's how we all need to be. That's right. We all need a Tony Stark size ego. I know you. What? I would never want to be as egoic as Tony Stark. Yeah, you do. You want the ego to be big. That's not what makes you evil. You've learned it wrong. The big ego is not what makes you evil. It's the lack of consideration for others that makes one evil, not the love they have for themselves. The lack of love that you've had for yourself has been the reason why you are susceptible to be traumatized so easily, why you're susceptible to negative thinking, to self-harm, to low self-worth, to low self-esteem, because you lack the large ego. That was what you gave up during your childhood split as a child. Whereas the narcissist gave up the empathy and kept the ego, you gave up your ego and kept the empathy. So you care about other people very easily and you're concerned about other people, but you're not paying enough attention to what you have and what you are and what's great about you. You got to build that up. That's what we're working on for you. Whereas a narcissist, we got to work on getting them to love others. Yeah, not an endeavor I would take on, by the way. Once you've lost love for others, I mean, I can teach you how to have an ego. I don't know if I can teach you how to have love again in your heart for other people once you've gone too far. So consider yourself blessed to have never lost your empathy. That's beautiful. But what you need in equal measure to your love for others is equal love for yourself. You need equal, huge, huge empathy, huge love for others, but you need equal, huge, huge love for yourself. If I looked at you and I said, what would you be if I took this away from you? You should be able to name 3 to 5 other things right off the bat that you still would be, that you still love about yourself, that you still love having. Those are your gifts. Those are your blessings. Anything that you've received, whether it was from birth or from hard work, whether it was something someone gave you out of generosity or something you had to earn, if you got it and you possess it, it is a gift or a blessing. And that must be where you put your energy. Because when you put your energy on a gift or a blessing, your gift or blessing grows. Whatever you focus on, that's what you get more of. In my new video on TikTok, I mentioned how your reality is like the For You page of your life. Because the brain is running on an algorithm, and anything you tend to focus on and spend time on and engage with in your mind, your brain will send you more of that. Isn't that just how it works here on TikTok? And other social media, such as Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. It pays attention to what you're paying attention to. The algorithm literally analyzes, oh, look, she spent this amount of time watching this video. Or look, she's engaging with this type of content. Let's send her more of it. Until you sense that you're in an echo chamber of your own ideas and beliefs. Do you ever sense that when you're on social media? Like, oh, I only get content and mostly get content that's on the stuff that I'm interested in or that I seem to show that I was interested in. It's an algorithm. And that's exactly how your subconscious algorithm, the reticular activating system in your brain works. What you focus on, you get more of. What you focus on, you get more of. What you engage with, you get more of. So if you engage with detrimental thoughts and detrimental self-talk, I'm a loser, I'm defeated, I'm broken, I got nothing now, I have no one, she was all I had, he was my everything, now I lost them, now I don't. If you engage like that, you'll get more of that. More pain, more loss, more defeat. Literally, it will compound in your life because you'll be so sad that then you're not going to get up and take care of yourself. This is going to make you less attractive, which doesn't allow you to move on and gain new relationships, which makes you more sad, and you become less motivated, and then you don't work hard, and then you make less money, and it all just keeps snowballing. You literally get more loss when you focus on what you've lost. So stop focusing on who you lost, because that loss compounds. Even the loss of that person literally becomes greater if you focus on that loss. Right? That's why the coaches tell you, oh, immediately go no contact, immediately start focusing on yourself, because they know that as soon as you turn around and you stop focusing on them, it creates a magnetic effect where they go, hey, how come you're not chasing me? And they start coming back toward you. And that happens a lot. That's why coaches make money on that. And they tell you, hey, just immediately stop focusing on them. Okay, pay me $200. Right? Because they know that about 60% of the time it can make the other person realize that you're not chasing them, and it creates a magnetism where they come after you, because it's a law of the universe that whatever you focus on grows. So if you focus on the loss, then that grows. But if you focus on your abundance, you gain more. That's Pareto law of distribution. Whoever has more gets more. Right? When you have your money, you take your paychecks. Would you guys rather give your paychecks to me and I'll just hold on to them for you? And no, I don't have a lot of capital to back that with. I'm not FDIC insured. I don't have like a bank account or a safe or anything like that. But if you give it to me, I'll put it in my personal account and take care of it for you. Or would you rather give it to a large corporation with a huge bank and FDIC insurance and lots of employees around the world and government backing and so on, right? You give it to those who already have more. They get more because they have more. They have more, so you give them more. You got two banks. One doesn't look very secure. It's rinky-dink when they say, hey, please, we really need your money. And you got the other bank over here they don't say anything to you because they don't need anything from you, because there's big marble pillars. They have everything. And you're going to literally go to the big marble pillars and you're going to give them your paycheck. Because where there's more, you give more. That's the way the universe works. So put all the energy, put all the focus, put all the attention on what you have, and what you have will grow. Put your attention on your gifts and your blessings, and they will grow. When they walk away, you should say, okay, I accept your decision. I still have my PlayStation 5, my bicycle, my ball, and I'm going to take it and go home. I still have my beauty, my talents, my ability, and I'm going to take it. I'm still a thousandaire, genius, philanthropist. Hopefully not a playboy, but maybe your husband or wife. Maybe you have something. Maybe your father. Maybe you're a dog mom. Focus on what you got. What do you have? Just focus on that. Put all the attention, all the time, all the energy on that. When you find yourself starting to chase mentally after them, remind yourself, I need to get focused on what I have, because then what I have will grow. If I focus on the void, then the void will grow. I'm talking about the infinite void of what you do not have and cannot control. There's so many things out there. There's too much out there. Focus on what you do have. There's a finite amount that you do have and do control. I don't know if it helps for you, but I picture like a floating island that's very beautiful and lush, but it's literally like floating in outer space, like a darkness. And all that darkness around it is the void. And if you have a coconut in your hand and you're on your floating island and my floating island's so great, but then your coconut falls out of your hand and it rolls off the edge of your island into the void. Do not go and sit on the edge of the island staring off into the void to see if you can see your coconut falling deeper and deeper into darkness, and just sit there squinting and just keep leaning over more and more so you can see if you can, because what will happen? One, you're wasting time because it's not coming back. Two, you could fall off into the void. Yeah, that's how you fall off the ledge. That's correct. Because you were leaning over the ledge too much. Let's stop leaning over the ledge on our loved one, on our avoidant who left. Don't chase them mentally. Take your eyeballs off of them. As soon as you see that coconut fall off the edge, you just should literally shrug your shoulder and go grab you a new coconut off your lush tree. Literally, the more you focus on what you have, the more you have. That coconut, you can literally take it and plant it back in the ground and get more coconut trees. It's profound, but it's also simple at the same time. Is this making sense? Can you see how this would help us to heal? Since the time is going to pass, it's nice to have something to show for the time that passes. What I'm teaching you by focusing on what you have is that it's going to grow. So you'll have something to show for the time that passes. When you look back 6 months after the breakup, you want to be able to say, even if you didn't get the person back, even if you didn't find someone new, you want to be able to say, I'm glad I focused on what I had and I grew it. I'm glad I made that business, that wellness group, that mother's group that I made, that avoidance healing group that I made. I'm glad I took my pain and that grief and I channeled it into something that I could make for myself. I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I got serious about my social media, started my page. I'm glad I can look back and I have something to show for the time that passes. That's how you live in your personal power. We're living in weakness when we go, but what I lost. Stop saying that, right? Let's get to the wins. There's still wins. If I lose the suit, I'm still a billionaire, playboy, genius, philanthropist. There's still wins. There's still wins. And when we focus on those things, that's what creates more wins. Like when you think about Iron Man's character, what makes him able to be Iron Man is that he happens to be both a genius and a billionaire. He needs both of those things to be Iron Man. So then you add being a superhero on top. Why does he get to be a superhero? Because he is a genius and he's a billionaire. That's why he gets to be a superhero. The more you focus on what you have, the more you build what you have and you get more. You understand what I mean? He gets more because he has more. That's how it works. So focus on what you have so you'll get more. You will literally get more if you have more, and you'll have more if you keep building on what you've got. But when you focus on what you don't have, you lose what you have. Like if you've ever been holding a bunch of items, you drop something, what happens when you go down to try to pick it up? Then you drop the next thing. You lose what you have. It's just a law. It's a law of the universe, right? In California, when you're walking down the street, sorry, LA, I don't mean to bust you guys out, but it's homelessness everywhere, right? And so a lot of the unhoused people have very little, but what they have, they don't have a home for it. So a lot of times they'll get a mattress, which you can imagine, if you don't have anything, it would be nice to at least have a mattress, a nice, comfortable place to lie down. Like that's like top of the things you kind of would like to have, right? But if you don't have a home to put your mattress in, what happens when you walk away from your mattress? The street cleaners come and they pick it up off of the street. So my question is, if homeless people already don't have anything, why can't we just let them keep a mattress? We don't let homeless people keep mattresses because they don't have a home. Isn't that crazy? It's illegal for a homeless person to have a mattress because they don't have a home to put it in. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. They literally have, because you have less, we take away what you have. Easier for a poor person to end up in jail. I remember when I got my license at like 17. So by the time I was 19, I had accumulated enough tickets. There was no way I knew how I was going to pay all these tickets back. Because I didn't have the money to pay my tickets back, I lost my license. Because you don't have something, we have to take something else away from you. And because I continued to drive without my license, I went to jail. You have to lose your freedom now because you lost your license. And you lost your license because you didn't have enough money. You understand? and some of those tickets were because my car couldn't pass emissions in Wisconsin. You got to pass an emissions test or whatever that was. I don't know if they still have that. That was where I grew up. And then I couldn't pass the emissions because I don't have the money to get my car fixed. So because you don't have the money to get your car fixed, to pass this emissions test, you can't get a clean license plate. Because you don't have a clean license plate, you're going to keep getting pulled over. Because you keep getting pulled over, you're going to get more tickets. Because you can't pay those tickets, you're going to get your license suspended. And when you keep driving on a suspended license, it becomes revoked. And when you drive on a revoked license, you go to jail. It just keeps going, right? Now that you're in jail, you can't have a job. And since you can't have a job, you can't have money. Since you don't have money, you're going to have to lose this home. I'm sorry. And literally that did actually happen. Yeah, I lost my job for going to jail. That was true. I remember that. I forgot about that. So yeah, because you went to jail, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to let you go. So I lost my job because I had a social work type mental health field job, public facing. It was a really bad look for me to go to jail the way I did. And so yeah, I had to lose that job. I lost my first favorite job for not having money. You understand? So wait, I need the job, right? Because I need the money. But you won't let me work the job because I didn't have the money to pay for the stuff. You understand? It's like, what is this? It's a law of the universe. It's a law of the universe. If you have less, he who has less, more will be taken away from him. Jesus said this in Matthew. He who has more will be given to him. It just is the way the universe works. We can't change the universe. So what we got to do, we can't change that part of the universe, the fundamental laws. So what we have to do is focus on what we have and build on that. Because you will end up in the vortex that I just described of losing until I end up homeless and all I have is my mattress. And then I walk away from my mattress to go use the restroom and somebody takes my mattress away. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. But what can I do but laugh? So you gotta get out of that situation. Absolutely have to get out of that situation. And you do that by building on what you've got. Build on what you've got. Build on what you got. Focus on what you've got. Focus on what you got. Build on that. Build on that. Build on that. Right? And then it starts to compound over time. It starts to grow over time. Make sense? So rule number 5 of healing and happiness law number 5 is always focus on your gifts and your blessings. Does anyone have any questions about this or breaking up in general? Always focus on your gifts and your blessings. Being in a spiritual community, I was taught you have to remove the ego. Do you have a video on it? Yeah, this is a common misconception, especially in spiritual communities. So when I refer to, first we have to go with what is our definition of the ego, right? I think what they're probably referring to is unhealthy pride or selfishness, I would assume, right? When I'm referring to the ego, I'm referring to your sense of self, your sense of self. That includes your love for yourself, your concern for yourself, and your image of yourself is your ego. So if you focus on everything that's good about yourself, then you build a positive, robust ego. This is essential for mental health, and this is very much missed in very many spiritual communities, very much missed in cultures and religions. And as a result, because there's not a lot of emphasis placed on it, that's why so much of the population that has CPTSD is floundering and doesn't know how to heal, because they're not taught to have a robust ego, a robust sense of self. When you have a robust sense of self, equal to your empathy, love for other people, ego and empathy, it's two wings of a bird. Which one of the bird's wings can they afford to have clipped off? Trick question. Neither. The bird needs both of its wings. You need both ego, sense of self, and empathy, sense of others. Ego, love for self, and empathy, love for others, to be healthy. When a person tries to adopt the pseudo-spiritual death of the self, I have no ego, I have no self, well, it's not actually sustainable long term. There may be initial benefits from learning to be less selfish and less prideful, yes. But the problem with a prideful or selfish person is not that they have a strong sense of self. The problem of a prideful, selfish person is they lost the empathy, the other wing. They lost the sense of other people. Haughtiness means that you have a disdain for others. It's looking down upon others. That's not keeping an equal ego-empathy ratio. We should view others as amazing. We should view ourselves as amazing. We should view ourselves as, I just want to use the word amazing again. You should see yourself as amazing. You should love yourself. You should be enamored with yourself. We should feel that way about others as well. I love them. I think they're amazing. I'm enamored with them. You should feel that same way. You should feel compassion for yourself. You should feel compassion for others equally. It's the loss of that that makes you narcissistic and egotistical. Italian Catholic female here taught not to have an ego. We were never taught that part of the ego. Yeah, so learn this and recognize that it does not conflict with Christianity. In fact, the second greatest commandment in Christianity is love thy neighbor as you love who? Love thy neighbor as you love who? Who? That means if you love thy neighbor as you love yourself, it means that you love them like you love yourself, equal to how you love yourself, meaning you must love yourself. It's there in the second greatest command. So it's actually a tenet of Christianity. It's just that the churches don't focus on it and they don't teach that as much. In Cape Town, they fine the homeless. Yeah, they'll put you in jail. Depending on your government, they'll put you in jail for being homeless, of course. When you have less, you lose what you even have. Something Jesus said 2,000 years ago. I don't know if I dated a narcissist, but he never seems to see what he's doing wrong. Well, he lacks accountability. So therefore, does he qualify to be with you if he lacks accountability? The answer is no, by the way. I'm going to tell you that needs to be one of your standards. You cannot move forward because no human can have a healthy relationship, a healthy, intimate relationship with someone who lacks accountability. Because we're all imperfect, so you're going to have to be accountable at some point for something. And if you lack accountability, it's going to create huge problems. Can I come up Yeah, just use the multi-guest feature down at the bottom. God called us to be whole and abundant, not constantly telling ourselves bad things about ourselves. Very good, right? God is love, right? So you must be love. God loves himself, does he not? So you must love yourself. Losing your self-value makes you narcissistic? No, losing the value of other people makes you narcissistic. Losing the value of other people, losing the empathy makes you narcissistic. Avoidance are egotistic? Question mark. It feel like it, not in a mean way, but like he didn't get it. Avoidance are in survival mode, and if you're in survival mode, it blocks out your empathy. When you're in survival mode, it blocks out your empathy, right? Like if there is a guy trying to kill me right now, my empathy would temporarily get blocked out, and I would stab him in the neck. You understand? Am I normally a person that could possibly stab a person in the neck? No, I can hardly kill a bug, right? But once you're trying to kill me, then that's out the window. You're trying to kill my wife or my child, that's out the window because it's survival. So that blocks out the empathy, and I'm going to kill you. You understand? We all need that. That's a part of the balance. But the avoidant is applying it in a situation where they don't need to apply survival because they're not in actual danger. Your love is not a danger to them. But that's how they're viewing it. Oh my God, this person loves me. I'm going to get engulfed, or they're going to ask too much from me, or some type of fear. I'm going to lose them, some type of fear that they have. So that fear then triggers them to act like a scared rat, a scared child, a scared mouse. So they lose that empathy, and then that's why they seem like they're egotistical. But they're really not. At the actual core of what avoidants are, they're actually not egotistical. They don't have a steady sense of self at all. That's the problem. They don't understand themselves. They don't understand their identity, their power, their authority. They don't know themselves because they went through their childhood losing themselves, abandoning themselves to care for their family. Do narcissists have low self-esteem? A lot of people make this mistake and they say narcissists actually have a low self-esteem. The answer is no. Narcissists do not have a low self-esteem. That's a common mistake in psychology. Narcissists do not suffer from a low self-esteem. You can ask them. They'll be like, no, I'm great. It's everyone else who's an idiot. That's how a narcissist feels. A great way to develop self-respect plus healthy self-esteem is to create a list of standards. If you want to develop self-respect, I don't like the term develop in this case. Like it's this big project. I'm working on building my self-respect. No. If I say, hey, you need to respect me, you don't say, I'm working on developing respect for you. You either respect me or you don't. It's a choice. It's a choice to respect yourself. To respect me means to do the things that are respectful toward me or to avoid doing something that's disrespectful. That's how you respect yourself. You avoid doing something disrespectful to yourself, or you do the things that are respectful of yourself. So is it by creating a list of standards? That would be a way of showing respect for yourself. Yeah. Creating a list of standards, vetting people accordingly. Yeah. Your self-esteem is just referring to like the way you feel about yourself at any given moment. That comes through self-talk and perception control. I was in a 20-year-long marriage with a narcissist. Therapy is helping me to see my role. How do I rebuild my self-esteem? Self-esteem is built through positive self-talk and perception control. Positive self-talk is telling yourself, I am a winner, I am good, I am beautiful, right? Like I'm looking at your picture and I see beautiful flowing red hair. So you should be always building yourself up about these gifts and blessings that you have, right? Like, I have beautiful flowing red hair, whatever you would say that would make you feel good about what you have. You probably have more than that. This is just me judging from a picture. So what else do you got? You got a dog, you got a countryside villa. What do you got? Focus on what you've got that makes you feel good, that makes you feel proud, and you remind yourself of that. And then perspective control, perception control. When something happens, instead of framing it as a defeat, you frame it as a victory or an inevitable part of your path to victory. And then you'll have high self-esteem. From your experience, do narcissists come into your office seeking help at their own accord? No. I have had less than 2 narcissists come into my office. Maybe there's been a couple more, right? And this is in 5 years of doing specifically being on social media where I'm public and everyone knows how to get to me. In 5 years of being public and interacting with thousands of people, there's been 2 narcissists, and they did not come to me for help because they were narcissists. One came because she enrolled her whole family because she wanted to help them, but the whole idea was that she was going to triangulate me against her daughters and all that, who she was controlling. But as soon as I talked to the daughters, I could see that she was actually a narcissist. And then I was able to see through that. And then the other one, I'm on the fence. I don't know if he's fully a narcissist, but he was a little bit, I don't know. I sense there's a slight insincerity, but he swears he wants to just improve as a person. He just keeps saying, I want to improve as a person, Roman. I want to improve as a person. So he books sessions with me like a couple times a year. He'll pop up. He's like, I just want to improve as a person. And I don't know if he's actually a narcissist, but I get some slight insincere vibes from him. But he keeps coming. I don't know why he's coming. So, but yeah, narcissists, no, they don't come in trying to heal or no, never. I've been sleeping a lot. I don't know how to stop. Sleep as much as your body needs. What are you talking about? Why do you need to stop sleeping? If you think that you're in some sort of like depression or trauma response or whatever, get yourself out of the depression, get yourself out of the trauma. But don't worry about the sleep. That's just a symptom of something else. I see. Thanks, Roman. Wow, good afternoon. How long does survival mode last? It'll last your whole life if you don't do the work to get out of it. How have you become so well versed in understanding avoidance? I dated 3 avoidants, and like 50% of my clients are avoidants. What do you think? CPTSD trauma survivors are either anxious or avoidant. 50% of my clients, I would say, just rough guess, are avoidants or have been avoidants at some point or were avoidants before they started working with me. All of my clients will heal, though, if they lock in. Like if you're doing your sessions, you're coming to all these live things and coming to my Monday and Wednesday night classes, you're enrolled in healing school, like you're doing everything, you'll heal. They all heal. But yeah, I didn't know about avoidance until until I started, like, as far as like the intimate part of like understanding what it's like to be dumped by them or discarded by them. I had to date them. I've got 3 in the bag already. three of them that I dated. They can't handle their emotions. They run away. They can't handle it. It's too scary to have everything they ever wanted. It's like, can't do it. It's sad. What should I do when someone says they love me and we just meet? Be like, thank you, I'm very lovable. That totally makes sense, and continue vetting them according to your standards. But we can't do anything unless avoidants want to change themselves, right? He just left. You can do a lot. You focus not on him, not on what you lost, but on your gifts and blessings. You can do a lot for you. You can't change them. Is that the fear that makes significant others murder? No. Significant others that murder, a lot of times, they're narcissists, they're psychopaths, they're sociopaths. And they do that because of a sense of control. Some murder out of a sense of rage. And I would say very rarely, but sometimes you'll have an empath who's a CPTSD survivor that murders out of their dysregulation, their lack of balance, their extreme thinking. They only know the two extremes, so they're in fight, flight, freeze. So in this case, they went into extreme fight, and then they killed their mate. Wanted to be single and alone. He just left. Yeah, so what you got to do, Begoli, is focus on what you have. You focus on your life, your healing, your blessings, and don't worry about him anymore. He's outside of your realm of what you control, what you possess. So he's in the void. So now you focus here on your island of the finite amount of things that you do control. Is cultivate a better word? I don't know what you're referring to. Facts. Focus on what you got. After discard, how long would you wait before dating again? I'm healing, so I'm not dating. You should always be open for connection. So as soon as an avoidant walks away from you and you're clear that you're no longer in a relationship, as long as you're not in another romantic exclusive relationship, continue to connect with others right away. You don't need to wait. You should be trying to heal as your priority. It's not that you should pursue other relationships as your priority. You should be open to connections, but you should pursue healing and pursue purpose. Focus on that. Am I married? Not currently, no. I was married 15 years to a narcissist. So I got that in the bag too. Got that one figured out. Like the back of my hand is how well I know narcissism. My avoidant dealt with women who can financially help him. Okay. Sounds like he had a little method to his madness. Are dismissive avoidants narcissists? No. Dismissive avoidants are not narcissists. They're just really cold-hearted trauma survivors who the way that they cope is by being like, I will cut you off for the slightest if I suspect that you might be toxic, I'll cut you off. And that's what a dismissive avoidant does. And then they cut people off based on mere suspicion. How do you heal selflessness? Selflessness isn't something you need to heal. This is something you need to balance. It's not a mental illness to be selfless. If you're talking about lacking self-love, then you heal lacking self-love by teaching yourself to pretend that you always have a child with you. And by visualizing this child as being next to you, you'll always know what you would do out of love because it's natural for you to love another person. Then understand that this child is actually inside of you, that's your inner child that you're supposed to be taking care of. And so you do everything that you would do for a child, for yourself. And now you have cured your lack of self-love once you've developed that habit. Fear of success. Yes, avoidants have a fear of success. Correct. What is the difference between being cocky and having a healthy ego, a sense of self? A person that's cocky is arrogant. And a person that's arrogant has a disdain for others. A person who has a healthy ego or sense of self can love themselves all the way up to the heavens, but they don't lack love for others. So they equally love other people to as much as they love themselves. A cocky person doesn't equally love others to as much as they love themselves. They view themselves as above others. I think when you meet a person for the first time, I love You Should Wait, because you can Pat, most people are not truthful. Pat, it's not accurate that most people are not truthful. That's a generalization. You're saying that you believe that you should wait when you meet a person in order to keep yourself safe. What you should be doing is you should wait to invest feelings. You don't need to wait to vet them. You can vet people immediately. So you should be vetting everyone. You can vet multiple people simultaneously because you're not investing feelings into these people. You're just vetting them. Okay, yeah, I can see that they're attractive. I could see potential in them. I'm going to vet them, ask them a lot of questions, get to know them, and see if they qualify according to my standards instead of just dating someone that is attractive. The moment I told him I still liked him, he just blocked me and went distant. That is typical avoidant behavior. And I'm sorry he did that. That's unhealed trauma survivor nonsense. Why'd avoid a dismissive avoidant leave you undelivered for 3 weeks, then read the message and still not respond? You're focusing too much on what you do not have and cannot control. You don't know why he read it and didn't read it at a time, and then once he read it, he didn't respond. You don't know. You don't know. There could be a billion reasons why that happens. Someone could just miss your message and then just see it way later and then not care anymore. There's 1,000 different reasons why that could happen. You're focusing on what you do not control. Get focused right here. Tell me, what do you have? What are your gifts? What are your blessings? What is your vision for the future and what you want to create, your purpose, your potential? What is your project that you're working on? As one is gone, another is born. I don't know what you're referring to. Can you name a few signs of an avoidant? An avoidant person is, you'll know when when they leave you without really ever having a good reason to suddenly leave you. And the best they can give, the real reason is that they can't regulate their emotions and they feel fearful around what should be positive things like connection and intimacy. That's an avoidant. What's your attachment style? Secure. I am securely attached. Damn, 15 years. Ooh. Yes, ooh la la, 15 years. I am an expert on narcissists. What is the best way to deal with our triggers after healing? Well, if you have triggers, then you're not healed. But triggers are sensitivities. So the way you deal with them is by confronting those sensitivities, exposing yourself to them in a safe way, in a safe environment, until you become bored of them, and then they're not sensitivities anymore. You, sir, have earned my follow. Yes. Yes. If there's anyone else in here who's not following me, please give me a follow. What are the first characteristics of a narcissist? The first characteristics, the main characteristics you want to look for is a lack of accountability and a lack of empathy. Can't deal with those, so immediately get away from them. Anyone who has a lack of accountability and lack of empathy, you get away from them. It's not about diagnosing whether they're narcissists or not. Lack of accountability, lack of empathy, I run. Run away. That should be your motto. Well, walk away, actually. It's better to slip away quietly with a narcissist while they're not paying attention. I've technically only been with avoiders, and I'm aware, maybe not at first, later I'm an avoider, question mark. Yeah, you can be an avoidant and have relationships with avoidance. That happens all the time. But you got to heal it by living no longer in fear, but living only according to love. Welcome back, Bronx Girl. People have demons inside them that they've been dealing with from childhood. Watch out. Unhealed trauma, we're going to call those demons unhealed trauma. Is being a lover being a fighter as well, or is it an oxymoron? No, it's not an oxymoron. I think when people say that there's lots of different ways that term is used. They'll say I'm a lover, not a fighter, or whatever. Or you're a lover and a fighter. You got to fight for the relationship if you're a true lover, right? So no, it's not an oxymoron necessarily. My fiance or ex, not sure what we are, ignores my texts about us. What can I do? Set a boundary. Like an ultimatum. I'm not sure what we are, so here's a simple ultimatum. Hey, listen, you need to not ignore my texts and let me know what we are, and you have this amount of time to get it done by, otherwise I'm back out on the streets. And then that's it. If they don't give you what you need by the time you gave them, then you go back to the street. Not literal street. You know what I'm saying, right? Back to the dating market. Remember to do hashtags that relate to the live and hit hashtag FYP on multiple searches. Are you telling me to do that or everybody else to do that? Because I'm a little busy right now. What is the first advice for a fearful avoidant to start becoming secure? Very first thing you need to do is stop living according to fear. Only live according to love. This is a rule that you should create for yourself. Just like you have other rules, right? There are certain foods you will not eat. There are certain types of people, like age groups, that you would never try to develop a romantic relationship with. Good. Now use that same ability to create rules and limitations and create this one. I never act in fear. I only act in love. My wife discarded me after 34 years, got a rebound relationship quick. Should I take her back? You didn't tell me anything good about her. You said she left you and then she went with somebody else. Should you take her back? Is she even trying to come back? So let's say she did all that and then she's trying to come back and you're asking me, should you take her back? You need to have standards and you need to have boundaries. So you need to ask yourself, does this woman right now, based on everything she's done and how she's behaving right now, meet the standards of what I need in a relationship from a wife? It's a yes or no. If she doesn't qualify and she doesn't meet the standards, then no, you should not take her back. If she meets all of the standards of what you're looking for in a wife, then you could make that decision to take her back. If you're going to take her back, then you need to introduce some obstacles. Hey, I'm going to need you to do this for me. I'm going to need this from you. I'm going to need this from you. Give her some hurdles that she's got to jump over to come back so that you establish the value of being able to be let back in. Don't just let them back in easily. This way you're able to test her actual desire, what she's willing to sacrifice to come back. When vetting, do you let the other person know you're vetting them for transparency? Yeah, if they can process what that is. Like, I don't make it a point that I have to tell them I'm vetting you, but I don't hide it from them if they can understand. If I'm talking to like a real smart woman and she just is very with it and understands this type of stuff, I'll be like, yeah, well, it's a part of the vetting process. Or if she asks a question about it. Like one time I was on a date with a woman. It was a first date. So it's vetting. That's all we're doing. So I was asking questions. She was like, I love it. Bring it. I love the questions. I was like, okay, actually. And then I pulled out either a printed list of vetting questions or I pulled out my phone. I forgot what it was. I think I had a printed list. And she was transparent. She could see I had a printed list of questions. So what's wrong with that? Nothing. In fact, she was a wonderful woman. Just missed a couple things. I would recommend her to anybody else. She's really great. Oh my God, I think I'm going to avoid it. All right, time to get in my healing program. Go to my website, click healingcourse.org or click on my link in my bio, and then enroll in the Attachment Issues Healing Program. Can we truly control fully our emotions when dating? When you first meet someone, you have full control over whether you're going to fall for them. You can be attracted to someone, that's natural, but you can stop yourself from falling head over heels in love. That's by how you focus your mind. You do that by focusing on what the flaws could be, keeping yourself grounded, not daydreaming and fantasizing about them. You have control over that, and you know you do. Once you put yourself there and you allow them to occupy that position and you've idealized them in your head, you're toast. Very difficult after you've already developed the feelings, and you all know that as well. Can you fall out of love? Yeah, but now we got the whole process of what we got to do. It's a lot harder. So in the beginning, vet, don't date. Dating is going to expose you, especially the women who are here. It's exposing you to falling in love with them. If I'm telling you right now, as a man, I'm telling you how I think as a man. If I see you as a woman, I want you to fall in love with me. I'm going to try to just get you to spend as much time with me as possible. Therefore, I would date you. You understand? It's very simple. All men who have above average level intelligence know that the only way you're going to get a woman to fall in love with you is be in her face a lot, like in the very beginning. Like you have to spend time with her. She has to see you and develop that taste for you and that trust for you and all that happens through time. So I'm going to be like, hey, you want to go on a date? You want to go here? You want to go there? You want to do stuff? Oh, let me come over and do that for you. Let me do this for you, right? I know, because that process of me being there is the process by which I break down the walls that she has of being able to fall in love with me. Every man knows that instinctually, the good ones and the bad ones. So I'm telling you, keep your walls up in the beginning while you're vetting them to find out, do they actually qualify? How do they feel about kids? What is their religious and spiritual alignment with you? What is their political viewpoints? Find out some real basic deal breakers right up front before you decide you're going to go out and spend all this time with them. Spending time with them is just going to make you fall in love with them. And then you fall in love with the wrong person. You understand? What is the difference between a narcissist and a dismissive avoidant? A narcissist lacks empathy and accountability. A dismissive avoidant is just an unhealed trauma survivor, and they do not have cruel intentions, whereas a narcissist does. During the vetting process, what is a good way to tell if they're putting on you? If you want to know if a person's putting on a mask or lying, it's not what they're doing and saying up front. It's as you give the situation time, you observe them, and when you see incongruence, then you know they were putting on a mask or whatever. You know there's incongruence, and you point out the incongruence. You say, hey, there's incongruence here. You need to get back to how you used to be. If every Wednesday they bring you flowers every Wednesday, and then 2 Wednesdays go by and they don't bring you flowers, hey, you used to bring me flowers every Wednesday, you suddenly stopped. What's the deal? We're going to talk about this. We're not moving on in the relationship till we figure out why you're not doing what you used to do. Then you see how they respond. If they start blaming you and telling you, well, it's you, and what do you start to notice? They're not who they originally presented as. You don't know if it's love bombing until they stop doing it. You don't know if it's a mask, if it's love bombing, until they stop, until they show incongruence. You cannot say, they told me they loved me, so that must be love bombing. They bought me gifts, so that must be love bombing. They did. No, because that's how a loving man would treat you as well. The difference between a loving man and a narcissist is that I, as a loving man, will never stop the way that I was in the beginning. I will keep on bringing the gifts. I will keep on telling you I love you. It will continue and continue and continue with consistency. That's how you know it's not love bombing, because it never stops. So when you see it stop, that's when you need to stop and you need to call it out and not try to figure out how to get it back. That's the self-blame thing. Realize that it's the other person is not being congruent and call it out. That's how you keep yourself safe. Boundaries and standards. My avoidant partner pulled away and later said he loves me, but can't handle the jealousy when he withdraws. Yeah, he can't handle it when he's without you. He can't handle it when he's with you. So his solution, break your heart and run away. Does that make sense? No. Therefore, does he qualify? No. Therefore, you got to move on with your life. He doesn't qualify as a man who could be your husband and the father of your children. So you're not considered healed unless you're without any triggers? Correct. Generally speaking. Like, I consider you healed if you got less than maybe 2 symptoms of CPTSD. If you got more than a couple symptoms of CPTSD, I consider you as having CPTSD, and we have to heal those symptoms. Once you're down to 2 or less symptoms, you know what I mean? It's relative. If they're very dim symptoms, then yeah. But generally speaking, yes, I would consider if you have a bunch of triggers or you're very highly triggerable, then you're not healed. When you are secure, do you always remain secure, or can you drift? You can always drift. I can become an avoidant if I want to. I can become an anxious person if I want to. And you can become secure if you want to. What makes a securely attached person, for those of you who are looking to heal your attachment, what makes a securely attached person is that we don't act in fear. We act according to love. Meaning, am I afraid of getting my heart broken and getting left by an avoidant? Sure. Like, I'm afraid in the sense that I don't want that to happen. Am I afraid that I'm going to meet another narcissist? Sure. I'm afraid in the sense that I don't want that to happen. But I don't act according to that. So meaning I don't just stop dating because I'm afraid. I don't allow the fear to guide me. I allow the love and the purpose to guide me. So if it's a part of my purpose to still have a mate or a spouse, then I continue to be open for connections. And if someone comes along and I'm interested in them, they're interested in me, then I vet them. And then if I start to realize that they could be a narcissist, I let them go. Or that they lack accountability or they lack empathy, I let them go. It's that simple. So again, what it is that a secure person has that you are lacking is that we're not allowing the fear to stop us. I'm allowing myself to go out. I will date probably more avoidance. And I'm going to allow myself to go and meet them and get to know them and then see them run away when things start getting good. And I'm going to get a little bit hurt because I'm going to invest a little bit of love. And that's how it goes. But I'm not going to invest too much up front, hopefully, if I follow these instructions. That way I won't be as hurt when they decide that they want to manifest that it was all just a lie. Do all narcissists gaslight others? Yes. Every single narcissist in existence gaslights others. It's hard not to fear sometimes. Nevertheless, Peruvian effect, living according to your fear or following the fear is always detrimental. So you can't live according to fear. You must not follow the fear. Can you talk a bit about trauma bonds? When mom died and my avoidant helped me through it. A trauma bond is where you have an attachment to someone or something that is not serving you, that is detrimental to you in some way. An attachment to someone that is detrimental to you in some way, like loving your abuser. That would be a trauma bond. Loving your avoidant that left you, that's a trauma bond. Can you talk about being discarded? Yeah, being discarded is where you're left high and dry, made to feel as if you're not of any value to the other person. It's like the way it's done. It's a discard because it's done the same way they would treat a piece of trash, right? And then you feel that, you sense that. You're like, man, they just treated me like I'm worthless. That's a discard, and it hurts. A lot of times there's ghosting or blocking involved. It's sudden, it's shocking. There's no conversation with a discard where you get a nice, calm, even explanation for why, and you get to talk out your feelings and process it over time and know that the relationship is coming to an end. All that's lacking with a discard. You're just suddenly dropped. I'm discarded. Where do I start helping myself from your YouTube videos? How to Fix an Avoidant is a good series, and this series that I'm doing right now, come here tomorrow, 12 o'clock for 12 days. We're doing the 12 days of healing together. He said he loved me and wasn't expecting to, then he ghosted me. Yep, that's an avoidant. But how do you do it when those feelings of running come up? You don't follow your feelings. Peruvian effect. Do not follow your feelings ever. You're going to have a very hard time from me giving me more than 2 scenarios in life where you should follow the emotions. In almost everything in life, you should follow the intellectual plan, what is beneficial for you, instead of what your feelings are telling you to do. The feelings are not your guide. Your reactions are hilarious. He said he loved me and wasn't expecting to, and ghost me. Don't copy paste your comments, guys. Is pursuing your purpose detrimental when you're looking for... I'm going through the comments one by one. So you're in your imagination that I'm skipping your comment. That's not what's happening. I haven't gotten there yet. Don't copy paste your comments. Is pursuing your purpose detrimental when you're looking for something external to validate you? Pursuing your purpose is never detrimental, ma'am. Always pursue your purpose. Never look for something external to validate you. Never look for something external to validate you. You validate yourself. Pursuing your purpose is a part of self-validation, and you need self-validation to pursue your purpose. You're not going to make it to your destination if you're hoping everyone else is going to validate you, because you're not going to get to your purpose. You're going to get to what everyone else wants you to do. Can dismissive avoidance get therapy and heal from their attachment style? Yes, of course. If they want it, a lot of dismissive avoidance feel like they're fine. Just like a professional certification to further my career. Right, that could be your purpose if that's what you want. But if you're doing it for the validation of others because that's what they're telling you to do, then you're not pursuing purpose, you're pursuing validation. It's not, they contradict each other. If you're pursuing your true purpose, you're not pursuing it to satisfy or to gain validation from others. Now understand, it can be mixed in. It's okay that you know there will be validation from others. It's okay that you look forward to potentially having validation, but you're not pursuing that. That is not your main pursuit. You're giving you the validation to yourself so that in the end, you don't need that. You're not going to be disillusioned if you don't get the validation once you achieve the purpose. When dating, do you need to state to a man the consequences, or is it infantilization? It's up to you. If you guys, when you're setting a boundary, if you want to state consequences, that's up to you. Depends on the circumstance. Sometimes you tell people, hey, look, I want to warn you, if you do this, here's what I'm going to do. But I think strategically, a lot of times for me, I don't tell people what I'm going to do. I just do what I'm going to do. Because once you tell someone, it's a binding agreement. Your word is your bond. So you have to do what you said you're going to do once you tell someone you're going to do it. So I'd rather just keep it to myself and decide for myself if I'm going to do it, because I got to decide in the moment. I don't know. Do I want to give them another chance, or do I want to enforce this boundary right now? Can you give a list of 5 questions that you had on the vetting list, please? You can get a copy of a sample vetting list on my website, healingcourse.org. But one of the first things you should start with is, do they want to get married? Don't waste your time with someone who's not trying to get married. Another basic thing is, are they spiritually aligned? Right? You got to have the same spiritual beliefs. Another thing, politics. Another thing, children, babies. Are we having babies? We're not having babies. How many babies? Do we not want babies? Do you already have babies? You got to find out about the babies. Right? That's almost 5 things right there. It's safer to vet, yes. He claimed he loved me and all I've started dating someone else painfully opposite of our company. Okay, let me know if you have a question. In case of betrayal, how do you limit the collateral damage to harden your heart? If the betrayal has already happened, you're already invested as much as you did. To the extent that you invest the love, you're going to have the pain. You have to now recoup your investment of love by pulling back on the love by doing your devaluation list. How do I reclaim my power and release all those feelings toward him? I am really losing myself. Do a devaluation list about him and do an idealization list about yourself, and then start pursuing your purpose. Is healthy connection somewhat effortless? I'll say not necessarily. Not necessarily. Healthy connection can require effort and work, because there's a lot of communication and not avoiding conflict between people who are healthily connecting. So that means we will have conflict. But if we're both healthily connecting, it's not that we don't have the conflict or we don't have to work. It's just that we're doing the work and we don't avoid the conflict. So I could literally have a conflict with someone every day for a long period of time, and that could actually be a healthy connection, especially if I see the conflicts getting less and less, because we're actually learning each other, getting to know each other.